So today is October 1st, and it's the beginning of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I wanted to tell you about my journey as it relates to breast cancer. About 6 months ago or so, I noticed that I had a lump in my breast. One of my kids bumped me and it was a little sore, and I found the lump. But I assumed that it was probably nothing and just let it go. Well, a couple of months went by and I finally decided that I needed to have it checked out. And when Sarah and I were actually in Maui, when I called to make an appointment here with my OB, and that is a really fast way to get a doctor's appointment, is to tell them that you've found a lump in your breast. So the morning of my appointment, I was very irritable because I started to think, what if I actually do have cancer? Before that point, I just decided that, no, it's probably not cancer, but as I got close, I expected to be able for him to tell me it is or it isn't. Well, he wasn't able to do that. He just said, it seems you should get this checked out some more. So he referred me, and I went to get a mammogram and an ultrasound to dig a little deeper, and they said that I'd have my results in a couple of days. Well, that same day, my doctor's office called me back and told me that it looked suspicious, and so I needed to go see a specialist. Well, I was very nervous because when the medical profession works that quickly, it didn't seem like it's just not a good sign. And so I went to see the specialist, and I expected the specialist to be able to tell me it is or it isn't and do a needle biopsy. But she thought that I needed a different kind of biopsy. And so I went in today and had a tissue biopsy where they go in and they collect 4 samples of tissue, and that is going to be sent off to the pathology lab, and I will find out in a week if I have cancer or not. This process has been kind of emotional for me because anytime somebody mentions the word cancer, you don't know what that's going to look like for you. And while I do realize that it's not necessarily a death sentence, it is impactful and it can change your life. And some of the verses that have been really special to me are in Philippians, and I'm going to go ahead and read them to you. Philippians chapter 4, verse 4 says, "Rejoice in the Lord always, even if you think you might have cancer." I will say it again. Rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything present your requests to God and the peace with thanksgiving. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. And he goes on further to say, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is excellent, whatever is praiseworthy, whatever is admirable, think about such things." So, in the midst of this, I get to choose to be thankful. I get to choose to be thankful for all the times that I get to put my kids to bed and that I get to be there when they wake up. And I get to be thankful when they spill their milk, because I get to be the one to clean it up. I get to be thankful for all the time that I've had here on earth. And you may say, "Well, Julia, you don't even have cancer, you don't even know if you do," but right now it's a very real thing for me. And so my mind thinks through these things. But I get to choose to be thankful. And in choosing to obey God and obey what He says, to choose to think about things that are excellent, praiseworthy, it protects me. Because then I am not wallowing in self-pity or worry or fear. I can claim His promise, and as I quote that verse to myself, I can find God's peace in the midst of this whole situation. And you too can find peace, whether you're facing breast cancer, or you know someone who is, or you've lost your job, or know someone who has. You too can have the peace that passes all understanding, that will guard your heart. And if you take nothing else away from this, I pray that you will dedicate those words and memorize these words and trust God in all things.